Hello, and on the gaming table today, a quick report about another game of Napalini, or in other words, modified Eisenhower. So here, Peter once again hosted myself and Kim's son Jeremy, and we went along and had a game on Peter's table again. This time I was the defending force, and so here's the troops that I had. There are two forces here, so two headquarters as well as a stockpile and a bunch of different troops, all in lovely 2mm. And I was going to be defending the terrain here that you can see. This is the village of Saint-Miraglis, and the surrounds are a little bit fictional, but it's okay. It's good enough, right, for what we're doing today. Another little feature of the terrain here is Thomas, and we were told repeatedly that this is definitely not Gordon. And so then I set up my troops with the blinds and the dummies like so. So I had 4 dummies as well as all my other troops here. And then Kim and Jeremy set up on the other side and they had a go at me. So let's take a look at what happened. Last time we'd played, the attacker, myself, had quite a few aircraft that came in on the table. I had a couple of attacking squadrons that were coming in and doing a lot of damage. In this game, we decided to tone down the air power a bit, and actually, because of the way things went, even though the fighters got engaged and did some damage to each other, actually the attack aircraft, I believe, basically did nothing the entire game. They tried to do things, but they kept getting driven off, distracted, or just not causing any hits. So yeah, the air power today was a rather non-event. In terms of the battle on the ground, my plan for the game today was basically to hold the center relatively weakly, just with a little bit of infantry and maybe some artillery. And then around the flanks, I had my more mobile forces, and I was going to try and lure the enemy into a trap, as it were. Let's see if I could catch them in the flanks and outnumber them and things like this. So that was the plan. Let's see what actually happened. What Kim and Jeremy had done is taken a very strong flank with paratroopers and heavy tanks and some other units here, and they were going up against my minor blocking force, which was just some infantry and militia. And I hadn't expected this to hold out. It was really just to try and delay things and stop them charging forward too quickly. However, that was not to be. The militia got rolled almost instantly, and the infantry got driven back and got pursued very quickly by the tanks. And before they could withdraw to the main battle line, they also got killed off. So I was very quickly down 2 units in the morning turn on the first day. And with that major breakthrough occurring, very quickly by the afternoon turn, Kim's tanks were ravaging through my artillery here, which had been unprotected. The idea was the infantry would fall back to protect the artillery, but they got killed off too quickly. And so after that was taken out, my headquarters were right behind this. The blind unit you can see there in the bottom right is actually my headquarters for this side of the table. After that, I was desperately trying to counterattack to try and stop them breaking through even further here, but all of my counterattacks weren't working. I was doing very minor damage to the tanks, taking a few hits in return, and generally speaking, not making any progress against this breakthrough. On the other flank, Jeremy's force had been given less operations points, so it wasn't able to do as much. However, it still moved up and was able to engage me on the other side here. Here, I was trying to use my artillery and an armored train, which also has indirect fire, to try and shoot at the troops and slow them down, cause them some hits, and stop them charging forward too fast here either. So at the end of the first day, things weren't looking very good for me here. I'd taken quite a lot of casualties. The enemy had broken through on my left flank, on the left of the picture here, and was threatening my rear areas quite a bit, and I was just desperately trying to hold them off. And so as we moved into the morning turn for the day 2, I managed to recover a few troops, so I managed to get a little bit of a line going again, but things were not looking too good. Compared to day 1, day 2 was a much quieter affair. We were both trying to consolidate positions. I was trying to basically cover all of my headquarters units, and Kim and Jeremy had some failed operations as well. Actually, we both had failed operations, so sometimes nothing happened when we were trying to engage in orders. And overall, basically the line settled down at this stage. I pulled back as much as I could. I didn't really try and counterattack. I just kept my distance, covered my headquarters and stockpiles, and let the enemy have the town and a couple of nearby objectives. So at the end of the day, it was actually a fairly resounding win for Kim and Jeremy. The victory points weren't even close based on this. And that early breakthrough had really done me in and caused me too much damage and too much kind of chaos to recover from. So good game, Kim and Jeremy, and thanks to Peter for putting it on. So overall, it was a good bit of fun to play Napalini or Eisenhower again. Remember, this is the adapted version where Peter does a few different things than regular Eisenhower. Overall, it's good fun though. Peter is looking to set up a campaign for this again, as he did one other time. He's going to be doing a campaign again in 2026 here. So we'll try and get into that and get some more games on the table soon. Anyway, I hope you found that a little interesting. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.